Alright, welcome back to Final Fantasy 1 Pixel Remaster. So we had one of the more iconic scenes play out here once we crossed the bridge. Got these little sides, the top scrolling, lines about their adventure and what these people are and stuff like that. It's a little distracted right now because I'm watching the Capcom spotlight, so... But anyway, we'll continue on. So remember, in this run I am doing the boost, and I'm pretty much for all the Pixel Remasters we will be doing the boost because I just don't have time to kind of be playing around with these games. I just want to get them out there. They're really old anyway and very easy as it is, so I'll probably end up doing that for a majority of the Final Fantasies that even allow me to do it. 10, once we get to 10 is going to be where it kind of slows down though, unless I did that one on Steam, because that Steam version is the only one that has the speed up option and everything, so it is going to be a slow trudge for Final Fantasy X, but it's okay because 10 is probably my second favorite game of the entire franchise. Let's see here. Alright, so anyway, moving on. This is like the first portion of the game where we can actually go on a different path to go visit a cave or another house or whatever you want to call it. So you just kind of have to walk around. The nice feature about this is that we get the giant world map, so you can kind of just plan your route. The correct way to go is to the right, and eventually we'll run into a town called Pravoka, but that's not what we want to do. Oh, we got a digital sale. Yeah, I should have waited for the Monster Hunter Wilds one. I have that game, but oh no, I did buy it on sale. Never mind. All the Monster Hunters are on sale. Nice. Yeah, of course. Resident Evil stuff. Dragon's Dogma 2's been on sale since it came out, so... Alright. Anyway, so you can go up here, head north. We can go through the little rivers and stuff like that. Oh, Resident Evil Requiem! What else did we get here? Okay, so hold on, we gotta get some info real quick. I'm gonna pause this broadcast real quick. Okay. It was an okay showing. I mean, they didn't really go into too much depth about Requiem. They just kind of had a little bit of stuff to say. You have to go into the Resident Evil portal in order to find out more about it, but yeah, that sucks. So, either way, we got a little bit more insight on the character and what their plan is and all that kind of stuff, so we'll see. Come February, Resident Evil 9 will be featured on this channel for sure, because I already have 2 remake, 3 remake, 4 remake, 5 is being played right now between me and my 13-year-old, and 6 will eventually make its way on here. 7's on there, 8's on there, and obviously we got to play 0, 1. They're just really old games, so they're, I mean, obviously Resident Evil 1, the remake of it is just phenomenal, so once we get there, we'll do it. They're really fast. It's not like it's going to take forever for me to get those done. They can be done within, like, hours, so it's not a project I'm stressing out. Anyways, I'll head up to the north here, and we can go to this little cave. Oh, shit. Should have had the encounters on the whole time. Okay, frontwards, backwards, any way you see such a strange spell to swish, swish, a reach. And then you see out, LDNA, Leknak, swish, swish, a root. So basically it's telling us, if you read this backwards, then it gives you like a little special message. So if you see CANCAL, cancel, and L2, okay? So we go cancel circle, and then L2, it'll just bring up the map quicker. Well, that's just the world map, though. Kind of dumb, but you know, it is what it is. Alright, so we have an old witch here that is missing her eye. So if you remember to come back here after you find a crystal eye, then that's what we need to do. And then you can keep on talking to the moving broomsticks, they'll just all say the same thing. Sometimes pots will hold items, but in this one we don't need to worry about in this game, so you're just going to open up the chest, check your map, and you'll see that. And we have collected all 3 chests. Then we can move on. Nothing special there, just slap around some goblin guards we've been seeing the entire game. Very common enemy out this way is going to be an ogre. Ogres are really tough. Obviously not going to be for us because we have the boost on. But they're also a really good source for early game grinding, for experience points and for gil. So if you're trying to buy items and stuff like that, they are really nice. Come over here. There's an ogre. Well, obviously still very powerful, but all that stuff right there is by ×4 multiplier, so if you just kind of reduce that down, you'll see that they are really worth kind of grinding around. There'll be nothing in this top corner. Once we get over to the other side, there will be like a little secret that we can show over there. Dang, everybody had crits right there. That experience is divvied up equally between the cast, so... Alright, so this will be the town of Pravoka, and then I'm just going to show real quick. If you were to come down here further and just kind of explore around, this is the nice feature of having this no encounters. You can just kind of mess around with the game and just check places out. This is intended for people who've played these games like since the very early releases. Obviously, you have to be like a fan forever to, you know where you're going, what you're doing, and you're just like, oh, I just want to replay this game. So this big body of water that's really blue, that's going to probably be like your ocean. We can't do anything here. Once we get a certain item, we'll be able to cross into this darker blue, which is like a lake. But we need an item for that. But eventually we'll be able to do stuff on the sea. So you'll have to get here. These are the docks for a ship. Now if we come over here, I believe they have not changed this in this Pixel Remaster, but this is what's known as the Peninsula of Power. So if you're having a hard time with the game and you want to really get levels or you just need money, if you just walk these squares right around here, half of the map is kind of like cut to where some of the more difficult encounters in the north side of that will show up on this little platform. It's not always guaranteed, but you do have a chance of running into some high-powered enemies. So we'll see. But like scorpions, you're not supposed to really encounter these things just yet. And they'll probably poison us. Yep. And you can see they have high evasion as well. They're hitting us really hard. But yeah, as you can see there, we got over 1,000 gil in that just from the times 4 multiplier alone. And I'm just gonna... Yeah, so you'll see, you'll never really die outright from the poison, but your character will stay at 1 HP. So this encounter you'll see often anyway. We'll just go ahead and run. He's gone. Okay, apparently we just want to... There you go, you can see the game over screen. Yep, restart. So luckily enough, it won't count like towards like a death count or anything, but just wanted to show that. So you get some pretty difficult encounters up there if you ever need a power level. And coming down to Pravoka. Pretty much what we need to do in Pravoka is free the town of pirates. You'll see the NPCs are like, help us. Those blasted pirates. So yeah, we have this pirate crew right here is who we need to defeat. But before doing all that, obviously we want to check the shops first for some upgrades. We got new spells for level 2 casting. You'll pretty much just have to pick and choose what you want here. The null abilities are a must. You do want to get these, because that'll cut every damage by that type in half. And there's no reason not to do that. I like Silence and Blinda. Invis is kind of... We'll see why I don't choose Invis. There will be certain items in the game that you can use as just objects to kind of give you these buffs and stuff like that. Obviously an attack spell with Blizzard. Temper is very good. You always want Temper. And then Slow and Dark are these status spells that I don't know if they're bugged or not, but they just never really work that well. I would just choose Dark though if you had to pick anything. Slow doesn't really do a whole lot. And it doesn't hit quite often. Okay. And we get some upgrades here. You can get yourself an axe, a broadsword, another scimitar. I would probably go with the broadsword. Okay, Iron Armor, obviously it's going to be a huge boost. You're not even supposed to be able to buy this right now. That's kind of the level that we're at. And optimal. So our tank is definitely tanking now, which is great. 3 tents on hand. We can buy a couple of these types of things. Go too ham on it though. I would still stuff yourself on antidotes and maybe potions. High potions you don't really need, because you wouldn't be at 150 HP anyway up to this point. And then ethers are a little too expensive for a buy right now, and you're not going to really use them like that, so just use the ins. But other than that, you are basically set up for this fight, which we are just going to dominate because obviously we're too overleveled. Talk to the captain. Okay, typically not too hard of a fight anyway, even without the little boost on. So just attack them with your attackers. You can protect your weak people. I'll just blind them. We can see blind is having an effect on him right now. And just keep on going with it. Keep protecting, keep healing. Put them to sleep. And then just kind of, I guess, attack from here. Show off some new spells. Go. And just like that, we beat up some pirates and we get a ship. So like I said, this game is super simple. I mean, it's just, everything's really fast. The hardest part about it on a normal playthrough is just kind of grinding around and getting the levels and money that you need to buy stuff. But that's about it. Everything else is very self-explanatory. Just move on. It's really difficult to get lost in this game as long as you're maintaining your check on your NPCs and stuff like that type of thing, and if you got good rhythm, and other than that, I mean, you're set. So nothing really to worry about here. Go ahead and just give it a save. Okay. Alright. Ships obtained. Let's go ahead and continue on. They'll be like, oh, thank you. lot of monsters in the Aldean Sea, of course. I don't think I saw that mage. Oh. Be like, no. Got nothing for you, bruh. Alright, so the map will show you where the ship's at location-wise. So you'll always have to be able to get onto your your mobile units, your ship or whatever. You'll never really be like soft locked out of getting those. So the world is yours to explore at this point. If you look at the map, you can kind of see like we will be kind of engulfed. I can't really like free cursor this, but if we pay attention to like the large lake surrounding Cornelia, we are going to be pretty much bound to that area specifically only for now. But yeah, so you'll be restricted within the blue for now. There's only so many ports you can land on, so you'll have to kind of pick and choose where you're going to go from here. There's like going to be progression halts and stuff like that, though, that are going to really prevent you from a full-on exploration. But you do want to generally just get a move on here, so... Right now, it's just wise to kind of attack everything. You don't want to waste all your magics or anything. Sahagins are probably the more annoying enemies out in the sea because they're faster than you. So they'll always get strikes off pretty quickly. They're not very damaging, but after a while, chip damage, and then you'll run into like sharks and stuff, and that's where like the big damage numbers will start happening on you. So there they are, yep. I mean, you can see they're doing like 28 damage, so... Have you been to the Western Keep? They say the crown from the Marsh Cave can restore the fallen keep. Okay, so she's given us a direction. Utilize this inn here. It's going to be your cheapest option going forward. So if you can just kind of battle around and make your way back to Cornelia, you'll have pretty good access to like a healing station, basically, for 30 gold each time. So they're telling you to go to a Western Keep. Obviously, you'll have to just keep exploring the map to see where that's at. Here, I like to kind of keep around the coastline, though, just so you kind of give yourself like a boundary line of where you can explore. A really hard encounter to pull off in the sea is against Buccaneers. They'll probably be your least encountered enemy on the map, so you'll have to kind of swim around here until you find it. Once you do, the Buccaneers, in regular version and regular mode, they'll give you like a bunch of gold, so they're worth a lot of gold if you can, or gil, they're worth a lot of gil if you can pull them off and destroy them a few times. So then you'll be able to purchase those heavier armors and stuff like that. Just for early game tip. Come up here is a dock. There's our Buccaneers. So no different outside of pirates. They're just a tougher version of them. Yeah, 2,400 gil right out the gate for that. So 5 of those dudes, you go ahead and do the math. You know, 2,400 divided by 5, and then all that good shit. So you're blocked off by the landmass here. Continue downwards. Then there is quite a bit to explore here. But like for this instance, I'll just go ahead and turn these off since we don't want to run into like every encounter in the game. If you come down here, you'll see that you'll get landlocked. So the game does have like a way of telling you like, hey, you're a little too far. This is the dwarven location. Let's go. They don't care if you take their gold or treasure chest. We Crystal Eye, you blind can see. The Dark Elf Astos, Nick, the one belonging to Maitoya. Okay. Then if you pop a door and you use the map, you'll be able to see what's inside every single door before you even go in there. So then you'll switch and you'll be like, okay, so I got 10 treasure chests to get here. Smithy here is going to be very important in the future. So you want to remember this line where he's like, I need adamantite to create a sword. We won't be getting that for a long time though. So Merrick, he's asking for nitro powder so he can do some blasting. Mystic Key. So the Mystic Key is going to halt progression for a while here, so we can't open up any doors. And I think we're starting to see the point of what's going on there. So nab a few chests, and then you're like, okay, I'm kind of blocked now. You come up this way. Like, you just generally just explore. Anytime you get into the marshes, though, like this, these are usually the more poisonous and more dangerous enemies live in this area, so you can make a habit of leveling up and grinding in those, but they will come at a price. And then just hop back on your ship. And down. So pretty dangerous encounter on that one. You can see that the black belt's struggling to survive now. So here, get one heal. You just want to make it to the town. There you go. That's Elfheim. So home of the elves. And you can get some upgrades and weaponry. Nothing fancy though. See, Elfheim has 0. The copper armlets are going to be worth your time to buy. You can get them from dungeons too, but it's just good to get them now. Go ahead and buy 2 leather caps. Oh shit, I should have just bought one. Okay. Optimal. Copper armlet wouldn't be a bad idea for him. So when we get the free one, I'll add it to him. Do that. Armlet. So now the mages have a little bit more survivability, but they're still pretty bad on defense. While the knight is doing pretty well. I'm a sage. When time is right, the future is revealed to me. I shall. So, at some point in the game, you come back, revisit, talk to them. They'll give you like little insight on things. It's not that big though. It's just more dialogue. You get some more items. Pretty much all the item shops are going to sell the same stuff over and over again. You just kind of pick and choose what you need. But I'm doing good there, so I don't need to worry about it. Elfheim has 2 magic shops, so I think we'll only be able to kind of use the level 3 shop for now, just because the spells are going to get pretty expensive from here. So we want to learn Thundara, Fyra. I usually don't even buy either Hold or Fokara because they're just not spells that I really use, and I'd rather keep the Gil. But feel free to load them up if you want to. One of these will say "Here lies Link," just kind of a little slap in the face to Zelda there. Poke fun at them. Okay, so we got upgrade and everything here. A lot of this stuff is actually really good. It's kind of up to you how you want to divvy this out. Obviously, I choose the null spells. Diara is never a bad choice, and then heal will actually heal the entire party, which I think is more worth than Cura, which only heals one person, but for a lot of HP. Which you can rectify with a little bit of grinding and some potion buying and all that kind of stuff. Okay. And we're only able to purchase 1 spell from the level 4 area. Alright, so here, the best spell to buy from this pool right now, if you can afford it, is Haste. This will double one ally's attack, so the Haste temper setup is going to be very key in dealing with bosses if you're playing on a regular run. Either way, though, you just generally want to get a build set up to where you're just smashing shit, doing high damage numbers and stuff like that. But just keep this place in mind, because you need to buy the level 4 spells, and it's easy to forget. Then enter the castle. The castle will have 4 chests, again, that we cannot access at this moment because we will need the key. But to access this place, you'll have to kind of run along the edges. It's really, like, I don't know how you figured this out on a normal run, but yeah. Because if you pop out in any direction like this, you're going to get kicked out of the room. So they're asking for aid because their prince has been put to sleep by Astos, Dark Elf. So obviously we are on a quest now to save the Elf Prince. We're also on a quest from the dancer lady stating that they heard something about a cave that needed healing, basically, right? So now you trek on the long adventure to the left side here. And those will be your best upgrades for a hot minute, especially for this part. I would consider this to be probably the hardest point in the game, just because you are going to be very low leveled. It's going to take a while to kind of upgrade yourself. You probably spent a lot of time fighting and trying to get the best upgrades that you possibly could up to this point. And even with all that, you're still going to have a little bit of a struggle fest with the first dungeon, just because of the sheer amount of poison enemies that are in there. Your magic usage is only limited to 9 if you get a high level, and obviously we're still at 6, so it's you're probably sitting there with like at least 3 or 4 charge spells, and that really sucks. So you're going to be really relying on attack only, which for some enemies in the cave we're going to is really bad. So you have to utilize running away a lot if you're going to survive the opening hours of the game. I think that's the only point, though, that Final Fantasy 1 really gives you a hard time. Like, this encounter here is pretty bad, too. Because the Gygus worms will take forever, and then the ogres are going to get some hits off. And they hurt pretty bad. And, of course, do your map checks. So once you reach this clearing right here, this is where you want to be. Come down. Skirt along. That is a poison werewolf. And this little hole in the ground is going to be your main objective. Alright, Marsh Cave has 18 chests as well, so you don't have to get all the chests in one run if you don't want to. Obviously, it's worth the challenge to do so because you'll get rewarded with a bunch of different things. But knowing where to go, that's going to be basically part of the adventure. So make use of however you want to play it. Generally, I know exactly where to go, and if I don't, you know, we'll just do what we got to do to get to the point. Gray oozes are weak to physical. Very powerful, though, as you saw there. They'll just smack you. So places like this, it's kind of handy to keep like potions and stuff. You do want to come in here ideally with like 20-something potions and a whole bunch of antidotes. Your mages can only do so much. You don't want to waste their magic on MP healing. That is so unlucky. One poke and I got poison. And of course you gotta heal it. So if you run out of antidotes, obviously you have to leave the dungeon, or you can just deal with the poison damage. I wouldn't suggest that. So when you pop a door, make sure you check the map to see what doors might be false. That's the nice quality of life that they added to this game. So as you can see, there's 4 chests down this way and no other way to go. So this is kind of like an extra room. So just kind of do this. You pulled out a dagger. Oh my goodness gracious. That's all right. At least one guy got hit with it. That's what kind of sucks about the RNG factor of who gets to go first sometimes, because usually the black belt won't have turn like that. Then just kind of navigate your way through this rocks. Alright, green slimes are weak to magic, so your physical fighters aren't going to really do a whole lot here. And there's really nothing that your mage can do either, so just kind of do this. They're weak to fire. That works. So if you can pull a crit, then you're good. But I usually run away from slimes because they're just useless to fight. Because they're going to make you use all your MP for no reason. Gargoyles are the more difficult enemy in this area because they will cast fire. And they hit you multiple times as well, so that's the double whammy with these guys. And I mean, we can just see based off of this, like, we're getting pretty wrecked right now, even with, like, having the boost on. So imagine not having that on and being, like, half the level I am right now at this stage. This dungeon is easily the hardest one in the entire game. We'll just do a full attack. There you go. So typically I would summon Diara here and just kind of wipe the skeletons. The blood bones would survive, because he's just tougher. Some chests will feature enemies inside of them, so just be prepared for that as well. Typically has a higher chance of causing an ambush, which sucks. Then just get out of here. I like to make a good habit at quick saving just because you never know when things are going to go wrong. And then here I'll do Diara. Definitely Diara here. These guys in the future, like future enemies of that type, are going to be very difficult to deal with, so just be prepared for them. They are like status ailment inflictors. So they're pretty bad. Use a tent. Reset yourself, because that was kind of like an extra side of the dungeon. Like I said, flee from these. You generally just want to flee as many as you can to stay alive in this dungeon, because this dungeon is really long for a starter dungeon. And it will just feature enemies that just whoop your ass for no reason. But if you can fight them and like get a little bit of gil, like this one's a pretty good fight, because the bones aren't that strong. Then just kind of take it, but they don't give you much anyway, so that's why I don't really like fighting none of these. Then you can, like I said, this is kind of like a quality life thing, but you can just check doors and you can be like, okay, so that room up there doesn't even have anything, but it has a door. So there's not going to, in Final Fantasy 1, there won't be any secrets or anything like that. So just check the door, check a door once you're inside of a building, see what things might offer so you're not wasting your time, because those rooms are just meant to be trap rooms and that's it. And then you can see all the way across. You'll kind of have to make your way from left to right. This is another dungeon that you will have to re-explore again anyway, because you have to have the Mystic Key. So you'll see it twice. So fights like these are very dependent. Sometimes it might be worth your time to fight them in case the scorpion's got to move. Yay. I think I might already fucked that one up. This will be the gist of this dungeon run right here. Oh shit. Yeah, don't worry. If you leave one guy behind, you'll be fine. Paralyzed is not a bad status to be afflicted with. It doesn't do anything to you. Well, when you're in the battle, it will, but... And this is the key feature of that. Get a free broadsword, so you didn't have to really buy one if you didn't want to. But you can always just sell it. That sucks. I hate when they get moved off. Especially on the mages, too. That's like the worst case scenario. Because they're so fragile. That's a pretty heavy fight. I would just bail out. If you have the thief in your party at this stage in the game, though, this dungeon is really kind of trivial because you'll have like really high success rates of running away pretty quickly. So you'll be able to save yourself for like the final portion. Werewolves are fast. Good block. Yeah, I just choose not to deal with that shit, so... Alright, so this is the very, very heavy section of this dungeon. I'll just cut here, and then we'll do another video just to kind of showcase this, because there's no way I'm going to clear this in 10 minutes right now. But basically the gist is that these bottom levels are going to be restricted with the Mystic Key, so you will have to come back here eventually in order to get that. So yeah, just be aware that it's gonna be a minute before you 100% this thing. And then yeah, so you're gonna run door to door to door to door, just grabbing all the treasure chests that exist inside of this dungeon until you get to the boss fight, which is like a mini boss fight, and then run away with what all you got. You're gonna be extremely damaged and extremely weak, so getting out of here is gonna be a challenge in itself on your first run, if you're not doing the boost in hand. But just keep that in mind. Running away, there's nothing wrong with it. Just do it, because this dungeon is really hard in this starting hour. But anyway, that'll do it. So thanks for watching, and we will continue with the Marsh Cave.